When you're laying in bed scrolling through your phone, through your social media platforms, how much of your Explore page or your For You page has to do with mental illness? According to an article titled, "Does TikTok Affect Your Mental Health?" by Angel Alfred, the content curation that comes across your Explore page or your For You page can be helpful when it comes to showing videos or pictures of things that interest you. But if you interact with one post about depression, how much of your For You page will then become about depression and anxiety? During my formative years, I spent a lot of time on social media. Due to this, I made a lot of friends, I discovered a lot of my main interests that I still keep up with to this day. However, I became extremely depressed during this stage in my life. This is something that does not run in my family. I was living an extremely comfortable life with no issues, so where does this depression come from? Every day on TikTok, I scroll and I see videos of unqualified people diagnosing users with depression, anxiety, narcissism, or a plethora of other mental health diagnoses. I see people making content that claim they are using humor as a coping mechanism to deal with their mental illness. When young people who are on social media unsupervised see this, it makes them believe that mental illness is cool and funny when there are people who are actually suffering from mental illness that have a hard time living their everyday life. Today I will talk about why our For You page curates this way, how social media affects young minds, and how self-diagnosing is harmful. According to an article written by Angel Alfred on the site Influence, the main reason people post on social media is to give people validation of their feelings. The issue that comes along with this is that people will continue to see these posts and compare themselves to the person on the screen, causing them to self-diagnose. Self-diagnosing is an issue because with mental health issues, you need a licensed professional. The positive aspect is that people will not feel alone with their legitimate diagnosis, but the negative aspect is that people will reach a little bit to make these characteristics fit to them for self-diagnosis. Let's talk about how common this is today amongst Gen Z. Coming from personal experience, I know how people being too open on social media can influence young minds. I got confirmation of this from an article called "The Harm in Using Social Media to Self-Diagnose Your Mental Health." Growing up using the internet unsupervised, I was exposed to a lot of websites that I should not have been. Before TikTok, I was on Tumblr, which felt like the mental health Olympics in 2014 and not in a positive way. I believe that this is the reason that I entered this dark state of mind during these years of my life. The Harm in Using Social Media to Self-Diagnose states that using social media to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health is helpful, but it can be dangerous for people looking to self-diagnose when they are experiencing the normal highs and lows of everyday life. Finally, I want to share ways that we can avoid self-diagnosing due to social media posts. Reducing the stigma that surrounds mental health is important. However, it is also important that we protect young people from thinking that there are mental health issues when they are experiencing a completely normal aspect of life. How can we make sure this happens? We can make mental health resources more accessible and make it known that there is nothing wrong with having mental health issues, but not everyone has them. In an article posted on Counseling Today by Lindsay Phillips, a licensed mental health counselor discusses the reasons that self-diagnosis can be helpful if the patient speaks with a therapist. In speaking with a therapist, it can be discussed that diagnosis in mental health is more than just a checklist of characteristics. It requires a much more in-depth discussion. The original self-diagnosis can open the door to that discussion, but it cannot be the whole discussion. In conclusion, while being open about mental health can be validating to the people with legitimate mental health issues, it can also cause self-diagnosis, which can be harmful to young minds if they do not see a licensed professional following their discovery. The curation of the For You page comes from the posts you interact with. Interacting with multiple negative posts regarding mental health can cause your pages to be filled with posts about mental health, which can cause your mind to fill with the idea that you have this disorder when you are facing the normal highs and lows of life. While there's nothing wrong with having mental health issues and it is important to think about destigmatizing, it is important that we do not convince people that there are issues that are not really there. Thank you.